Hello, my friends. I want to start off subdued, or as subdued as I can, because just everything that is going on and the energy and just destruction, and I am a very sensitive person. I'm wearing another one of my shawls. This is my protective blanket, and I am sending all of you some protection today, because whether you have a spouse or a parent that looks after you when you need it, or if you're a single person with no one, we can never have enough protection. So I am sending you the protection that I am creating for myself now. I'm happy to be here, though. I was happy to be in Atlanta this weekend for Wild 'N Out. I don't want to reveal anything about the show ahead of time, so I will let you guys know when that airs on MTV. And I did manage to have some fun this weekend amidst my jet lag, because I was there for 18 hours. I took my kids to Glow Zone in Huntington Beach, which was a real treat. And I allowed myself to have some adult time afterwards, because that Glow Zone has a comedy club attached to it, the Rec Room in Huntington Beach. And I saw Jamie Kennedy perform, and he was really funny. And I needed that, even though I'm old. I wish he would have gone on a little bit earlier so that I could have been home by earlier, so I could have gotten a full night's sleep. But it was worth it, and I'm glad I did it. And I want to start off, before I even get to the devastation and addressing it, which I have to, by acknowledging that Stan Lee has passed away. 95 years old, though. What a life the Marvel legend lived, and what a legacy he will leave behind. So he touched many lives. Talking about the fires in California is so difficult, because for me, I'm so close to it in Los Angeles, but even being so close to it, unless you're there, it's not the same thing. And the media, myself included, is not focusing, but giving an disproportionate, or unproportionate, you know what I mean, amount of coverage to all of the celebrities that have lost their homes, instead of the entire community up in Northern California, Paradise, that is decimated, and all of the other areas affected. And it makes sense, you know. The reason why the media covers celebrities losing their homes, perhaps more so than they should, is because it's a cheap and easy way to tell a story. People know these people. So you would think that there would be some understanding, some connection. And I've actually found the opposite to be true. And maybe it's just me reading into it, but a lot of the people that have been lacking empathy for the celebrities that have lost their home are a lot of these Donald Trump people. It sucks that anybody loses their home. Yes, a lot of these celebrities are privileged in that they can afford insurance. They can afford a lot of things that those less fortunate cannot. Having said that, I would never say that they deserve it, or I would never not show any empathy or understanding for them that also lost their homes. We're all human at the end of the day. We are all human, okay? So, sending positive vibes to everybody affected, including those whom I talk about that have lost their homes, like Gerard Butler, who lost his house, Camille, who lost her house, Miley Cyrus, whose home was destroyed by the fire in Malibu. Thankfully, she's safe, And her animals are safe as well. In a lot of these instances, people were told to evacuate so quickly that they may not have even been home and couldn't return or weren't allowed to get their animals, which is a whole other thing and just sad, sad, sad. I gotta move fast because I don't want to sit in this heaviness. Let's just move forward. But it is nice to see, you know, somebody like Miley who has suffered devastation. All of the house, her recording studio, the special keepsakes gone, but she's encouraging others to give back. And I encourage you all to give back in whatever way you can. If you can donate money or time or water or resources or whatever you can, let us all be there for each other in however we can. Even if it's just also sharing information. That is a way of giving back. I gotta give props to James Woods, whom I could not disagree with more about almost everything. But James Woods really stepped up to the plate and was attempting and was doing good by sharing information and ways to help on Twitter. So good on him. It doesn't always suck to be Kim and Kanye's neighbor. In fact, during the awful fires that affected as well the Hidden Hills area, Kim and Kanye hired a private team of firefighters, which I did not even know was possible. They hired a private team of firefighters that saved their house and that of all their neighbors. So it wasn't just a selfish act totally. The firefighters they hired also helped their neighbors and kept that area under control. So, you know, not everybody can afford that like Kim and Kanye can. But hey, you know, if you could afford it, wouldn't you do the same to protect your house and your memories and your sacred space? I mean, losing a home is awful, but you know, I think it can be a positive thing. I clearly would not want that to happen to me, but if it did, I'd move on. I had a lot of stuff in storage here in Los Angeles when I moved to New York City. And this is the wild thing about storage. You have to sign a contract with them that if anything happens to your stuff, they're not responsible. And you pay money. They force you to pay money for insurance, and they don't pay you jack of what your stuff is worth. So, hay que ir a natación. Un besito. Un besito. Un besito. I love you. Okay. They don't pay you anything of what it's worth. I had water damage in my storage unit that was somehow happening because of one of the other units. One of the other units leaked into mine and there was water damage. And I lost so much. And I'm glad, I mean, having lost a parent at a young age, my dad died when I was 15. It's weird because on one token, I'm a pack rat. I keep all sorts of mementos and trinkets. But on the other side, if I lost them or if I had to get rid of them, I would be okay with that. Anyways, good work, Kim and Kanye. Speaking of Kanye, he performed this weekend at a festival in Los Angeles. And the instant I saw footage of this performance by Kanye, I was like, yo, he straight up copied Lorde's box aesthetic. I mean, it wasn't even similar. It almost looked identical to this box, this thing that Lorde used on tour and at Coachella. Kanye had clearly been aware of this, okay? Kanye is up to date on what other artists are doing, especially something as big as Coachella, which is also broadcast, okay? Thankfully, Lorde called Kanye out and said it is not cool that... let me read to you what she said, because I want to quote her verbatim. She said, "I'm proud of the work I do, and it's flattering when other artists feel inspired by it to the extent that they choose to try it on themselves, but don't steal, not from women or anyone else. Not in 2018 or ever." Boom. Hold on, let me make a note here. Gonna talk about that on the podcast. All right. Hydration. No tea today. I already had my 1 cup. I'm gonna have another cup later. I'm trying to hold it together today. I still feel like I just need to sleep for a week. All right. In other news that has gotten the people talking, the chief marketing officer of Victoria's Secret said in an interview that they choose not to have different shaped models and different kinds of models on the runway, meaning they won't have trans women or drag queens or plus-sized women or anyone other than the models you see, which are overwhelmingly white. As to why, he says, does the brand think about diversity? Yes. Do we offer larger sizes? Yes. Shouldn't you have transsexuals in the show? No, I don't think so. The show is a fantasy. It's a 42-minute entertainment special. That's what it is. It's the only one of its kind in the world. We attempted to do a television special for plus sizes. No one had any interest in it. Still don't. Speak for yourself. Thankfully, I think Rihanna showed the world with her lingerie fashion show earlier this year that being wild, and she even had a pregnant model. I mean, it was so diverse and beautiful. That's not wild, but I mean, it was sexy, and I mean, some of the looks were wild. Just being unafraid, being you, that pays off. Victoria's Secret is so 2000 and late. Just like what happened to this one influencer that got rejected from the Louvre because she was wearing a low-cut dress. I saw this dress, which I did not find problematic. If the Louvre has, first of all, if that would have been Lady Gaga or Beyonce, they would have let them go right in. But because it was some random girl, they didn't. And if the Louvre is so strict, then they should have cover-ups ready for people. Saying, if you're gonna wear what Daisy Duke's short shorts, cover yourself up with this, then you can come in. But it's not fair to turn people away like that. I had no idea the Louvre had some kind of dress code. Hello, backpackers? Are many of them just living off of a little backpack? They don't have a ton of options or clothes and aren't necessarily prepared for fancy outfits or even just a long skirt or whatever it may be. It's just silly. I'm team influencer on this one. All right. In other wacky news, and moving on to a music segment, Tekashi 6ix9ine is doing another music video in collaboration with Nicki Minaj, and he hired those sisters that are engaged in a lawsuit with Cardi B. Petty! Also, Morrissey was attacked on stage during his concert in San Diego. He has said many hurtful and outlandish things. I have said hurtful and outlandish things in the past too. I would hope nobody attacks me. Makes me think of that Tucker Carlson protest outside of his house last week. Disagree with somebody all you want, but don't attack them. Don't show up at their house. Learn how to disagree. Thankfully, Morrissey was not seriously injured. By the way, I will have the link down below to this story and everything that I talk about in today's Perez show. On to lighter news. Nick Jonas and Priyanka Chopra have booked the Umaid Bhawan Palace in Jodhpur for their wedding, which will take place December the 1st, with several days of events and festivities leading up to it. Fancy! They better have a TV special, I'm saying. Also, wacky news from Nick Jonas to Christina Aguilera. She was in New Orleans for her concert and decided to go out to this club or a music performance venue where there was a local band playing, and she wanted to get up and jam with them, and the band said no. And it was all caught on video. It was so awkward and embarrassing. You can click the link down below to watch it. The People's Choice Awards were this weekend. Why? The show was canceled by CBS, but picked up by E! I have the fashion up on my Coco Perez Insta account, if you want to see it. Instagram.com, Coco Perez Insta. And also Victoria Beckham was there, as were the Kardashians, who knew ahead of time. They had their speech written for them and put up on a prompter. Fake award show. But Victoria says that, you know, she gets really nervous when she sees a microphone on a stage. And you know what? I'm glad she's not doing the reunion tour. I would rather she not be there than half-ass it. Kind of like Jonathan on New Kids on the Block. He half-asses it. I get it. He has his anxiety issues. I'm sure he's doing it for the money. There's nothing, I'm not hating on him for doing it for the money, though. Victoria doesn't need to do that, so good on her, all right? In other news, Ben Affleck has checked himself back into rehab, sending him positive vibes. And let me just end things on a lot of positive news. Chip and Joanna Gaines are returning to TV. The Fixer Upper stars are launching their own network, getting their Oprah Winfrey on. Why did Martha Stewart never launch her own network, or hasn't yet? I would love that. I love Martha Stewart. Martha, get on that. And finally, congratulations to Kate Upton. She and I believe former MLB baseball star Justin Verlander welcomed their first child together, a girl named Genevieve Upton Verlander. And that's it. Yay! I hope if you're in a good mood, that this didn't bring you down. I hope this was in a good mood, that this might have cheered you up, or at least gave you something to think about. I appreciate you, and thank you for watching. Bye.